Gentleman yields back. Now recognize the gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Norman, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Director Chopra, for testifying today. I'm going to move through a couple, and any we can't get through, we'll write a letter if you could just get it to us. One question that's come up, has been the funding for CFPB for the Supreme Court. You mentioned that y'all have undertaken a pretty extensive review of expenses trying to cut the cost, I guess, of CFPB. Has that been successful?
Well, I like, just to make sure it's clear, we're always looking at ways to sunset old contracts that are no longer in use, reduce waste. We try our best to constantly be doing that and find more ways to get value out of every dollar with our procurement. So I have seen places where we are making inroads on it. At the same time, we have to execute our mission, and that requires expenditure.
Well, when you look at what the history is, I think what CFPB has done, they can issue a one-page letter to the Federal Reserve and fund up to 12% of the Federal Reserve expenses. In 2021, it was $717 million for fiscal year 21, and then in 2022, it was $734 million. Has 2023 seen an increase from the $734 million?
Yeah, I believe so. And in fact, we have to consider a number of factors. And of course, a big driver is wages and compensation. That's our biggest piece.
But you'd fair to say it's gone up.
Oh yeah, it has gone up. The projections are based on, I don't think they're out of line with, other banking regulators. I think in some cases it's lower.
Well, I think it was brought up about, we voted on doing away with the CFPB. I was one of the 148 to vote to do away with it because of funding. Congress, you ought to have some type of oversight. In any governmental agency, they can just submit a one-page letter and get it funded, I think is unfair to the taxpayer. Changing topics, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I think the CFPB is removed or in favor of removing all medical debt from the credit report. Is that right?
No, we haven't proposed it yet, but we're collecting feedback from small entity representatives on that. And I think, again, it's interesting because it's not like another loan, and then inaccuracies and dispute rates on them are extremely high compared to other products. And we also see that, FICO, others.
You wouldn't be in favor of taking it off the
Oh, we haven't proposed it yet, but that is one serious consideration that we're collecting.
What's your opinion of it? Real briefly, because I want to get to another.
Well, I think actually based on the data over the past 10 years, I do think that the harms associated with inaccurate medical debt reporting cause a nightmare for people.
So you would take it off?
Relative to the benefits. Well, I kind of want to see how it all works. The difference is medical debt, I think we think of it separately from like the medical bills that you don't apply for in advance as opposed to the medical loans.
Let me ask you this, you've got a small business review panel. Who have you dealt with, or I guess who have you gotten opinions of? Has it been for medical providers? Have you interviewed them?
Yeah, so we have, in terms of the panel, we'll need to get you more information on who's on it, but I've personally talked to a number of medical professionals, including medical debt collectors, who are inside the hospitals, inside
You've met with them to get their opinion of this?
Yeah, and I think...
And I'll get a letter if you could just respond who you've gotten with.
Well, and we can even share with you some conferences where we've given presentations. What's interesting is many of the hospitals actually don't send it to credit reporting. So there's a lot of heterogeneity in the practices. So
I'm out of time.
Okay, sorry.
If you get information to us now on Regulation F, where consumers can consent to receive accounts receivables via text. You have certain companies that are blacklisting that are not sending text to, even though the consumer wants them to. Like an Operation Choke Point. Do Do you think this is right?
Wait, say that again.
If a
Someone-
consumer asks for for the accounts receivables to be received, the information on it by text, some companies just are not doing that.
Well, let us know about it. I will say the regulation doesn't require that debt collectors provide information by text. It just allows them if that's a choice, but we're happy to follow up
Okay,
with you on that.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.